the whole official introduction, just to make sure everything is streaming. I believe it is, but we always want to wait. And there I go again. I almost messed up. I almost looked at the other camera instead of looking at you guys in the webcam. But I remembered this time. But what's up, everybody? If you already hear us, and it looks like we are live. So for anybody who's already listening, already see us, we definitely welcome you to the Sim Standard Podcast. I believe, what is this? Episode 262 with myself and Smitty and AzureEffect at times when he's able to make it. But got some things to talk about tonight, man. Y'all know what we're going to talk about right off the bat. But we'll hold that because that's going to be the meat of the conversation. But the whole EA situation and them extending that license with the NFL owners. We heard earlier in the week or last week that the owners were set to meet. And, I did a video. Smitty did a video. He talked about it in his stream. A lot of people gave their comments. At least I can speak for myself and Smitty. We already saw the writing on the wall. The wording that Albert Breer had and others, it basically said that they were meeting to extend. But we got a little information that we'll go into, man, when we get to that. But we definitely want to talk about that. We also want to talk about, man, and again, I'm going to give him his credit. Let me find his name again here. Damani Childry, I believe, at EA Sports Ideas. He sent myself and others a tweet. He wanted us to talk about this game that is the V-Play NFL Legends Football. I did a video on it. Some of you guys may have seen it. Got a little bit of traction. Last time I looked, maybe about 2,000 views. Nothing crazy, but seemed like a lot of people have seen it so far, at least in this community. So we'll talk a little bit about that, man, as far as, what my intention was with making that video. Because it's funny, Smitty, sometimes how people... It amazes me sometimes to see the different perspectives that people take the same footage. Like... how they clearly miss what you're saying, or they don't. I don't know if they don't watch the whole video. It's weird. One guy even said in the comments, clearly these are just humans acting like, animating like they're in a video game. And I was like, what? What you looking at? But anyway, we'll get into that. But before we get started, man, got to throw it to Smitty real quick, man, to check on him, see how his week was, how's everything been going. And anything you want to jump into really quick before we dive into the topics?
No, nothing in particular, man. Just, week's been steady, going and everything. Spent some time with family and all that. We did a little in-state vacation, so to speak. Went to a hotel for a few days with some family and everything, and just been chilling, doing that. But that's basically been about it, man. Been keeping tabs on what's going on and seen this come across the docket, and it's just like all this news. It's just like, oh boy. So it is what it is. Though I mean, I'm not fully surprised, but like I said, we're gonna dive into everything. But it's it is what it is. In a nutshell, that's the way I can only say it.
It is what it is.
That's all I got, man.
Yeah, man. It's one other thing I kind of want to hit on really quick. I'm gonna be really, really quick with it because it's not about sports, but I feel like we have to say something about it. But give me a second before I do that. Just want to respond really quick, Smitty, to one of the comments here from CMAD. He says, I think we all still need to know what sim means as defined in the NFL deal with EA as it pertains to 2K's journey towards its 2021 release. We can all assume, but we don't know. We'll dive deeper into that when we jump on that topic, but I think we do. I think all of us can pretty much figure out now that it's not going to be a simulation product. They made that very clear. They've been said that. Like a month and a half or so ago, EA jumps out the same day and says, hey, but they don't have the simulation, quote unquote, license. They just extended that. So what we can assume, and very safely, is not going to be anything. I don't think it's going to be anything that resembles 11 on 11. Maybe. But I don't know. I mean, and some people say it could be an all-pro football situation. I don't think so. Why? Because the NFL is involved. Why would the NFL allow their name to be licensed in something that's still 11 on 11, but not the official. That makes zero sense. So I think if anything, it's gonna be an NFL street type thing or NFL playground, whatever. I don't know, but I think it's gonna be along the lines of that, a my player situation. You know, as far as how the gameplay is, that's different. But as far as us expecting an experience, a real 11 on 11, I think it's very clear that that's not going to happen. But we'll dive deeper into that. Before we get started with the topics, man, I hate to be... It sucks that we even have to even sit here and talk about these type of things, but I feel like we at least need to acknowledge it. The crazy stuff, man, going on in the world outside of the coronavirus. Here we are yet again. And, you know, speaking for myself and Smitty and whoever else is watching, unfortunately in our community, the minority, or in this case, the black community, African-American community, here we are dealing with another situation where this guy clearly, I'm going to call it exactly what it was. The guy gets murdered by this cop. Plain and simple. So I want to give a rest in peace to George Floyd. And I don't know about you, Smitty, and I mean, I know it's a rhetorical statement, but I'm tired of seeing this, man. I'm really, to me, this one, I can't say anything is worse than the other because they're all bad. But even in the prior situations, it was always that, man, they're going to get shot. Be careful. Somebody going to shoot you or whatever. Don't reach, da-da-da-da-da. This was totally different. Because the way I looked at this whole situation, again, I'm going to be brief. Whatever he did, right? And we know it really wasn't anything ridiculous that he was being, you know, attacked for, period. But let's say it was a bad situation. Let's say it was resisting. It's still no reason for you to have your knee in this dude's neck for 8+ minutes. He's So to me, this is clear, cut, and dry. I don't even want to hear what happened beforehand, even though we all know nothing. Even if it did. That right there. And I think, to me, Smitty, what's the worst of them all is you got the citizens standing there saying, yo, man, yo, get off. Hey, the dude can't breathe. Like, the one guy saying, look, I recognize this. I trained with you. You about to kill this guy. And it literally happens. So, again, I just want to say a rest in peace to him. You know, speaking on my behalf, I'm tired of seeing this. These are the type of things that we deal with in this country. Unfortunately, Smitty and myself both have sons. This is something that Smitty and I need to think about. Me and Smitty ourselves. It's something that we think about that some people don't have to think about. And I just hope, you know, I hope they do the right thing. I just hope the right thing happens in this situation. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, the tearing down of the target.
Yeah, that.
I don't know how that helps anything, man. I mean, I get what the narrative is coming out of people saying, well, you know, stores can be redesigned and insurance will help them, but you can't bring a life back. Okay. But... And to see the one brother on the video with a cart full of stuff, and, you know, you hear him literally say, hey, I got kids, I don't care. Dog, like, to me, I just feel like some of the looting and stuff has nothing to do with the cause. I'm just going to keep it real. And that, to me, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see, I don't know. But again, I just want to say that real quick, man, because, you know, what little platform Smitty and I have, I feel like it's the responsible thing to do. It's to bring the awareness. It was wrong. It was murder. There's no way around that. I hope justice is served. And I'm going to wish a rest in peace to that brother and his family. But I don't know if you have anything to add to that at all, Smitty.
You know, I mean, you basically hit the nail on the head. And I mean, I know I didn't really spend a lot of time, you know, I didn't post tweets and everything. I retweeted things and things like that. And it's like, you know, this is, once again, and I'm not saying this to make it sound like to nullify anything, but like, this is not, unfortunately to say, this is not new.
Not new.
You know what I'm saying? The difference is, and I mean, I know we touched on this before. We touched on this, and that's said, like we've touched on this before, which is crazy to keep on, having these instances. But we talked about it before, and it's like back then, even when we were coming up and everything, there was no social media. There was no YouTube. There was no camera phone. There was not, like, you didn't have it. So unless a news crew actually came out to a location about something, you never got to know about it. And there were a ton of things that transpired. Like there was a scene that I retweeted from what I think it was Freedom Riders, and you had the girl spazzing out about, talking about like white people. You know what I'm saying? And she was saying because of all the things that you can do and the things that I can't do. She said that she had a friend that had got, and she was like a Latino girl, and she was like, my friend had got shot because he had his hand in his pocket. Cop shot him in the back because he's saying he had a gun or whatever, but his hand was just in his pocket. He wasn't even pulling anything out. And it's like, you would look at that and be like, dang, that's messed up. But it's like, no, that's the stuff that actually transpires, though. That's what happens. So all these things are not, unfortunately, like I said, this is not a brand new thing. Like just like they had another instance, and then we can move on. But you had an instance where you had a what was it, 20-year-old kid or 21-year-old boy or younger than that, I think. Yeah, he ran a stop sign or whatever, and or he failed to do a complete stop at a stop sign. And the thing is, he was already at home. Cops come up, guns drawn, 4 cops on him, all of them with their guns drawn. He's laying out on the lawn at I think at his grandmother's house. And he's laying on the ground like he's got no weapon, no nothing, all that stuff. And they got them joints drawn steadily, just sitting there, straight up, got the suckers pointing straight at him, like he about to do something. And then you got the cops all coming on, just like I said, little kid, all of them swarming on top of them. And then you got the grandmother who comes out, and she's got her cane. She ain't moving fast, none of that stuff. And the cops, well, the camera got all shaky at that point, but they said the cops knocked her over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously. Like, you know what I'm saying? And understand this. Look, personally, my wife and I have had interactions with the police. My parents have had interactions with the police throughout our lifetime, and they weren't excuse me, they weren't extremely displeasant. Like, oh my gosh, oh, I can't believe. But you gotta understand that when these people do things like this, that's when it goes buck wild. It goes crazy, right? Folk go crazy over it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the positive stuff. What about the policeman that goes in the hood, sees some kids out there, and he's out there playing basketball with them? Yeah. What about the white cop that go? What about the white cop that's in the Maryland project? You know what I'm saying, or whatever, and he's out there playing basketball with the kids and everything like that. You see what I'm saying? Now, what about those videos? I don't see those videos get 2 million views. I never see that. I don't see them get millions of views. I don't see those get all kinds of retweets and likes. And I don't see, what I'm saying is these videos get liked, but they don't get nowhere near. I don't see the media attention going buck wild on that. You see what I'm saying? On the good things that happen. But, oh man, let it be something negative. Boy, it's time for everything. It's time to talk about us, talk about them, talk about these people, talk about this. All this reform needs to happen. And understand, I'm not downplaying anything. But at the same time, it's okay to be mad and it's okay to be upset about what's going on. There's nothing wrong with how you choose to act. But it is a problem when you're looting and jacking up, like you're jacking up your own neighborhood because of what somebody did. You tear up a Target. Now, what about the people? What about the mothers? What about the mothers in that neighborhood that need to get diapers and stuff like that, and formula and everything like that?
And AutoZone.
Somebody didn't. Exactly, yeah. Like
AutoZone caught it straight like that, man. Like, come
that's what I'm
on.
saying. Like folk
God.
need to get their car fixed and things like that or whatever. What if they ain't got the most money and they gotta, you know what I mean? Like you literally jack them up because yes, like I said, this is not right. But at the same time, you can't come with the well, Target got plenty of money. They could just fix that. No, that's not
Nah,
the point
that
though.
ain't it, bro.
That's not how you go about addressing a situation when there's a problem. If the problem is the way the police conducted themselves, and you go ahead and you address the police about it. You don't address, you figure out, you arrange and assemble accordingly and be as effective as you can. You don't tear up your own stuff. That's why these dudes be coming out, that's the kind of stuff that gives that negative connotation because that's what they broadcast. When they mess up, we end up doing something that makes us look worse. And then see, that's why they come with the tear gas, and that's why they come with the
Yeah.
because of that. You know what I'm saying? No one is saying that it's right. And we understand. And that's why people they rage because they get fed up with it. You see Colin Kaepernick and what he did. Look at all the outrage he got, right, for taking a knee. Now look what this cat did. That side by side picture, that's extremely powerful. Just looking at you call for his job because he did what he did because the military told him to do so. The military man that he spoke with told him to salute by doing that. And everybody called for his job. He never get an NFL job again, more than likely. And now you got this other situation here. This dude is straight rested. They basically filmed an execution, a slow execution. Like that's what literally happened. I'm like, you got to be freaking kidding me! Like, that's absurd. So yeah, it's like I said, it's something that can always be talked about and everything like that. And I mean, yeah, change got to happen. Things have to be better. All of that. That is very true. But it's not always every reaction because look, I remember where there was a clip somebody posted on Twitter where cats in New York. They were throwing water balloons, spraying water, throwing stuff at policemen. Like they didn't have on their armor and everything else. They was just patrolling down the street, walking down the street or whatever. And they were and the people that lived there were heckling them. They didn't pull their guns out and start shooting. They didn't start fighting people and everything. And I'm talking about people literally ran up in their face, would throw a cup of water in their face and everything. And they exercised all kinds of restraint, went to their car and rolled out. You see what I'm saying? Now, retweet that and show that a million times as well, along with the negative too. If you're going to showcase both sides. Because you also got to remember, now when they come through like gangbusters and everything, don't be, oh, I can't believe. No, like the energy goes both ways. The energy goes both ways when it comes to that. So you got to be mindful of what you do and how you conduct yourself. That's it. You know what I'm saying? When you look at communities, I'll say this and then we'll move forward. When you look at communities like Jewish communities and Chinese and things like that. It's like those are communities, even Arab, like Chaldean, I should say. I've seen now. I mean, I don't know in depth in terms of in person, but I know on the surface, they take care of their own situations. They take care of stuff when folk messing up, especially when it's their neighborhood or their town, everything like that. They taking care of business. Because that's their stuff, they got to take care of it. They got to be accountable for it. When folk messing up and doing ignorant stuff in our neighborhoods and counties and stuff like that in our areas, it's being instead of breaking it up, it's time to film the ignorance and laugh at it.
Yeah,
and
true.
Post it on YouTube and share it on Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff, laughing. And so I'm like, so you're not going to jump
World
in and
star.
stop anything. Yeah, exactly. Like you're not going to stop any of it. You're just going to say continue. You're just continuing it on and on and on and on. But then now when somebody does something in response, then, see, that's why things can't be nice. Because look, I'm like, no, but You do it to yourself and then you expect change. You can't do the negative action to each other time and time and time again and then just expect a different outcome. It just doesn't come out of nowhere. It all starts from internal. You have to internally manage yourselves in your own neighborhoods. You have the examples have to be set from within, and if they're not going to be set, then it's always going to be a problem. So that's it at the end of the day, man. But that's the key thing. I'll leave it at that. But it's just a jacked up situation, man. At the end of the day, it's all
jacked
of it
up.
is
Jacked up. And like I said, man, I just wanted to be responsible. Like I said, we have somewhat of a platform. Got to address it. And it's sad. And I'll say this one last quick thing. It hits harder for me. I may have told this story before, but I've been a part of the police harassment when I was completely innocent, and thank God it didn't go the way that it's gone with some of these people. I'm 16 years old. 2 of my friends in the car. We go to a Toyota dealership because they had the Supra was out there and we just wanted to see it, right? It's like 9, 10 o'clock at night. And then this is on a main strip in the city. Main strip. Lights, they got 10,000 lights in the parking lot. Ride through, we peek at it, we don't even get out the car. Like, wow, man, that's crazy, that's amazing. I wish, you know how you are at 16. Boy, I wish I had me one of those. Pull off. We at least 4 miles away from this place. And I noticed this car has been following us. And I'm like, yo, who is this? Keep following us. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to get rid of them. Not speeding or nothing, but, I make a couple turns here. Because even at 16, I was smart enough to see, look in the rear view. Are they still following? Let me turn here and see. Still following us. We get to this another strip, and it's a cop coming the opposite way, but he's like way down the street. And I know he's going the same way we're going, but he's way ahead of us. I see him slam on his brakes, whip a U-turn. I didn't pay no attention to it. I turned right. Before I know it, I see the cop car coming, lights flashing. He zooms past the car that's behind us, gets behind us. I'm like, okay, what is this about? We get to the next street, flashing the lights, pull over now, da-da-da-da-da. We get pulled over. He gets out the car with the gun drawn, right? His cop is literally standing like right here, right outside my door, gun pointed at my head. He says verbatim, if anybody moves, the driver gets it through the head. That ain't a story that I can make up. That happened to me. So when people try to tell me, man, it ain't nah, it was like that. I know that when is that called for? When do you say that to somebody and anybody moves, the driver gets one in the head? You ain't told us what we did. Nothing. Come to find out, they said the car that was following us was an undercover cop that was patrolling the dealership, and they had a suspicion that we were going to steal a car. Suspicion that 3, at that time, you could tell teenage kids were going to steal a car from the dealership. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? The dealership. What 16-year-old kid do that? What teenager steals a car from a dealership's lot? Just because we pulled in and pulled out after hours. Come on, man. And again, I don't think everybody's bad, but clearly that was racial profiling. Let's stop playing games. So like I said, these situations hit me a little harder because I was this close from being a statistic. So it's crazy. But anyway, again, man, rest in peace to that brother. And I saw C-Mad and a couple people going back and forth. And listen, I'm not trying to be slightful, disrespectful to anybody, anything like this. But I got to say this too before we move on. It's not about, I don't want to hear what the trial is going to be about at this point. I don't care about that. And I'm not saying that it's going to be tried as murder. No. What I'm saying, speaking for myself and with a lot of people that I know, we're saying what we saw was murder. As far as all the what the logistics are going to be and all of that, and yeah, you're probably right. It probably end up being manslaughter because you can't prove it. I don't want to hear that today when this just happened on Monday. We're just venting saying that the dude got murdered. Period. But what's probably going to happen is the same thing that happened with the George Zimmerman case. My wife is my witness. I told her before it happened, I said, ooh, they shouldn't charge him. They shouldn't try to go after murder. It's going to be hard to prove that. So, yes, obviously we know the whole intent thing, but I don't think nobody trying to hear that right now. We're just saying what we saw, and there you go. But all right, man, let's brighten the mood. Let's give a round of applause, man, to change the mood a little bit. Man. Think we needed that, man. And that round of applause also was for Brett Lee. We appreciate that donation, man. We definitely didn't want to miss that. Let's move on to some, I guess you could say brighter news, but it might be as depressing, Smitty. So, I'll kick it off, man. Listen, I'm gonna be straight to the point because Smitty has a lot to say around this point, and he's gonna bring up a lot of different things that I think everyone needs to hear. It's funny, Smitty was saying, in a nutshell, you need to be mad at the right people, even when he was talking about the protests. He's gonna basically say the same thing here when we're talking about Madden and the lack thereof and things like that. You gotta address the right people. But anyway, for those of you who haven't heard, man, EA Sports was able to extend the deal for Madden in terms of the NFL license. I believe it's through 2026, right?
Yeah, 2026.
So basically, when you look at it like that, you're talking about, let me see, we're in 2020. That's all the way through Madden 27?
27. Yep, 27.
So basically, in a nutshell, the exclusivity license that EA has to make a simulation football game, and I know, sidebar, people are always going to say, oh, well, Madden is not a simulation. Come on, man. Stop being so stuck in your own mind. We're just saying, in theory, a simulation game is 11-on-11 football with real teams, and I guess, I don't know if franchise mode is included in it. I don't know, but replicating 11-on-11 football. That's what a technical simulation is with NFL players. That is what 2K is unable to produce right now. Is that type of football game. But here's the thing. We kind of said this already. We told you guys that the writing was on the wall. I was hopeful in a way, but not really. But I made a video saying, look, man, I hope I'm wrong. But how did I finish the video? I said my gut feeling is that they're going to renew it. Because you had to pay attention to the details. It wasn't saying they're going to decide if things are going to be opened up. However, Smitty has some news that I didn't know about, and I'll touch on that briefly. Apparently, there's reports that the NFL was willing to open things up. And apparently the EA got aggressive. And got aggressive enough to make them go ahead and say, all right, let's keep it status quo. And I know people are going to be mad at that. And I'm just going to say a small piece on this, Smitty. People are going to say, EA is scared of competition. Look, man, let me tell you something. We're talking about business. Whether we think they're scared of competition or not, we can debate that. But we're talking about business. If you are a $1 billion company, however many times over, right? And you've been the only dog in the house, why wouldn't you want to keep it that way? I'm just speaking from a business standpoint. I'm not speaking from SimFBallCritic's mind or Smitty's mind or you guys in the chat's mind or the competitive football gaming community mind. Let me adjust my camera just a bit. There we go. It's a little bit low. I'm talking from a business standpoint, folks. Sometimes we got to separate out. It sucks. Yeah, I know. But we have to separate ourselves sometimes from just being gamers and consumers and understanding business, even if we don't agree with it. It's business. Y'all saw American Gangster, right? Let me throw it to you a different way. Didn't Frank Lucas want to be the only one on the block that had that, that fire for the low? I'm just saying. I mean, I hate to use negative terms, but I'm trying to relay it to you guys some kind. You understand what I'm saying? It's business.
Yeah.
Y'all saw The Wire. You saw Marlo. Marlo came and took them blocks. Was like, nah, we own these now. Go find some. Marlo.
No, Marlo. Yeah,
ran up on Avon and then was like, yeah, get up out of here. We run this now. It's business. It sucks for us. Now, we're the consumer. I want options. I was hoping for options, but none of this surprises me, unfortunately. And honestly, man, Smitty, and I said I was going to say this, man, maybe in another video, but I don't even know if it's necessary. If I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. So I'll just say it here. My fear is that we might not ever see competition again. But there's a comma but there, and I'll let Smitty go into that. There's a comma but there. If what we're hearing is true, if the NFL was open to it, maybe. But then the sad reality is they were able to fold because EA was like, nah, we'll give you more. And they was like, all right, bet. And that proves to me that that's what it's all about. It's the bottom line. With the NFL and billion-dollar companies, NFL loves exclusivity anyway. They're about the dollar because they decided, all right, they're going to pay us more. Let's just rock out with them. It sucks, man. And the last thing I'll say about it, we're right back where we were. We got to wait and see if EA Sports as a company will better their product. And that's just all, man. I mean, I'm so exhausted, Smitty, man. And me and Smitty kind of been like this for a while. All of that fussing and crying and kicking and screaming and arguing and attacking, I'm so past that. Because I understand that we're dealing with a billion-dollar business. They're either going to do or they're not going to do. Yes, I'm going to continue to give my feedback, of course. But all of the name calling and the bash, I don't have the energy. I don't have the energy for that anymore. I just don't. Because I know it matters, but it don't matter because it ain't enough. We not going to stop the bag. It ain't enough of us to stop the bag. And that's the unfortunate truth, man. But I'm sure we got more to say on it, man. I want to hear Smitty's takes, man. I want you guys definitely to hear his approach because I think Smitty's going to add some more variables in there, man, that's worth discussing. So what are your overall thoughts, Smitty, man? Good news, bad news? Are you crying?
No, I wasn't crying. But first of all, before I get started, shout out to our man Jump to Raw. You know what I'm saying? For the $10 donation. Appreciate you for that, bro. Said for being real and never shying away from real life topics unapologetically. RIP, bro. Much appreciated. And of course, we talk about the real life stuff in here too, from time to time when it's deemed necessary or what have you. We definitely do that. But yeah, man, we appreciate you like always, fam. As far as this deal is concerned, am I surprised? No. It doesn't shock me that they did this. But the thing that has to be understood, and I mean, yes, there was a little bit of an outside chance of, hey, you know what? We're thinking about opening this thing all the way up, man, and letting other people get involved because I see what 2K doing, and look at how MLB The Show looks, man. That looks real good. So, it would be interesting to see how much more revenue we could get if we open it up to other people. EA was like, no. look, this is our plan, but we are going to execute this. And matter of fact, this is what we'll also do. You guys will get this amount of money, and the NFLPA will give them this amount of money as well. How about that? Every year. How about that? Does that work for you guys? I mean, look, we got this great relationship. We're making this money. We're about to have these new consoles. We're really about to do. They let them know how sweet the Kool-Aid was because they already been drinking their brand of Kool-Aid anyway.
Oh my God! Hold on.
So
Hold on, Smitty. I've just caught a mini heart attack.
what?
I didn't see these numbers, bruh.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that?
$1.5 billion.
Yeah,
So are you telling me that that's what they pay?
yeah.
Oh my
And the
God,
team and the owners get $400 million a year off top.
fam. Like I said before, this is the only game we ever gonna have, man.
Yeah, this was
EA
yeah.
ain't playing fair, bro.
That's
And they
that's
got it.
why.
Here's the funny thing, real quick, and then get back to
Yeah, yeah.
Smitty.
No. Go ahead.
They got it because you know what else making that bread? FIFA,
Yeah,
Battlefield, just those three right there alone.
that's
2K
a ton
can't
of money.
swing. They can't swing that. Now, don't get it twisted. 2K making bank off of NBA 2K, but dog, when you can literally as a conglomerate, EA Sports and EA just the incorporation, when you got all of that money to pull from, you could just be like, yeah, throw that at that. Dog, those
Yeah.
honestly, those are mud numbers right there. It's nothing to us.
Yeah,
Money ain't a thing.
that's a quarter. That's a quarter, maybe 2 quarters off a
Lord have
month.
mercy.
Is
Yowza.
that right there? Yeah. So yeah,
Woo-wee.
they getting 400. They getting broke off 400 mil a year
Wow.
straight.
Yeah, okay. Get used to
So
Madden, folks.
that's what I'm saying. When they said all that, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is.
My goodness.
And that's the thing. And understand, and I'm gonna get to that sub Brooklyn bully because he's saying so. I'm gonna talk about studio stuff. I'm gonna talk about. Oh, trust me. Wait, just bear with me a minute.
All that
Like
stuff
what I
I said
was.
about bashing, I might have to renege. Might bring me out every time, Miss Smitty. Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah,
$1.5 billion to renew the. Yo, the NFL ain't
yeah.
playing no games either. Jeez. You know what that's like? That's like
What?
somebody being like, let me just see if they'll bite on this. Like literally, it puts me in the mindset of somebody in the NFL being like, yo, like batting the other dude on the table, he kicking it, tearing his shins up, like kicking him, like, yo, they willing to pay that. We was just joking, like we just baited them. You know what I'm saying? We just threw the bait out there, saying, well, we're thinking about seeing what 2K and Sony can do,
Yep.
just to play the game. And EA, when they got back in the car, they was like, got him. I can't believe they went for that. Like I just threw it out there. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, they got it.
Mm.
That's the thing. Matter of fact, that's more. They're paying more money for that than 2K paid for their re-up, and the NBA still left it open.
God, man.
See what I'm saying? EA could still get in that mug and still be in there. EA still being in there. So yeah. Said 8 million copies sold per year. But see, you also gotta understand. Yeah, see, that's the thing, C-Matt. They will make the money that'll go way beyond 8 million copies, even if they don't
Who's
sell
selling
8
that?
million copies.
EA ain't selling 8
No,
million.
he's saying no. He did the math in the comment section there. He did the math. He said 8 million copies, 480.
But are they selling that
pays?
Though? They're not selling 8 million.
Right. I don't think they're
units.
selling 8 million copies a year. I don't think they are. But I'm just saying though, they make way more in revenue. Like way more in revenue to every year. So All right.
I
So the thing
got
is,
something else funny after that.
the thing is, no, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. What you gonna say? Go ahead.
and you, and people try to say we sold out. Let me tell you something. If EA was paying me, I'm gonna tell you right now, I love y'all to death, but fam, if EA was
Oh, take that
really
shit.
greasing them palms, this is this is just a video game. I would be taking that money.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I'm taking that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
man. Come
uh-uh.
on.
So,
Oh wow,
but,
wow.
but, no, man. But look, this is the thing when it comes to this situation. Okay, we know the terms. But we know the financial, we know to a degree, we know financial details, we know how long this is going on for till 2026. People, please, at this point, please let go of the oh man, just 5 more years and maybe 2K can get it. Let it go. Let it go. I've said for the longest time, okay, I've said for the longest freaking time, I said EA from a business standpoint, they're doing their thing. I don't agree with it, but they're doing their thing. How in the world am I going to get mad at EA for? Dude, they're
Y'all,
running the tables.
y'all
Like
sensitive in the comments, man. We're joking. I mean,
EA,
oh
we're
god,
not like, oh man, if
y'all
y'all
dudes
taking
is
it,
crazy, man. But even honestly, even if we
this,
weren't joking, this stuff don't mean that much. It
yeah,
shouldn't. Honestly, it shouldn't mean that much to y'all, man. It's just a game. Of course, we want
we,
it to be great, but this shouldn't mean that much. We're gonna dive into that because I think Smitty
it's
going. Yeah.
look, it's you gotta understand. I've said for the longest time, from a business standpoint, what is electronic arts? Electronic arts is not a hobby, they're a business. From a business standpoint, did they do their thing? Yes. They had the exclusivity, they were able to sit on their hands. The key thing that happened was people still bought it anyways and continue to keep eating it up every year, buying it, and buying it, and buying it, and buying it. And then Ultimate Team rises up. People, what they do, they invest in Ultimate Team, regardless of all the problems that the game has. So, all the money they were able to accumulate, in addition to the post purchase, they're like, bet we're banking. They're getting straight bank, and no one's doing anything really big about it. So when that kind of stuff happens, what do you think's going to happen at the end of the day? I'm like, from a business standpoint, I'm not mad at EA. They literally are playing cheaper to keeper, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's literally what they're doing. And I'm like, from a gameplay perspective, it sucks. Do we need more stuff done in franchise mode? Yes, we need all of that stuff done. But the bottom line is that if the needle is not being moved, this is what the situation is. This is what the picture is drawn out to be at the end of the day, no matter what. And this is the key thing you guys got to understand. I'm gonna say this: if you're buying this game and you're complaining end over end, don't. If you're buying this game used, but then you partake of an Ultimate Team, skip it. Don't even say anything no more. Don't. No, but you see, this is why. Stop. Make your decision today, because you know the terms of the deal. You know it's publicly out here, so there is nothing to speculate. Okay. Now, I seen somebody say earlier about 2K and say like, well, what if 2K makes an arcade game that goes the semi route of being sim, but it's not sim and it's arcade? Can they do that? Yeah, they can. But at the same time, it can't be a game that honestly resembles simulation football. Like, it's got to be like NFL Blitzy, NBA Playgroundsy kind of game. They're not going to be able to they're not getting away with the all pro football. Okay? They're not going to get away with that. it's not going to work. All right. You know what I'm saying? So, and listen, if you guys want to get upset at something, at somebody, and I've seen people just, I'll make this point here, and I'll throw it to Sim. I've seen people getting at Clint a few days ago, 2 or 3 days ago. They were getting at Clint, because of something he said in response to somebody on Twitter about taking pride in developing a game and stuff like that or whatever. And I made a few points when I posted, because people post videos and tweets and stuff, and they got all this stuff to say negatively about Clint, devs, and all that. And I basically said, if you want the devs to hear you, and even if you agree, disagree, whether you're positive, negative in the game they work on, whatever, you have to be respectful with your dialogue. You can come across constructive, but you have to be respectful with your dialogue. Period. You just have to. Even if you don't like how they respond, you still have to be respectful with your dialogue. And what cracks me up is Sim bore witness to it. He was at EA. I'm not EA, but was it EA Play or E3? Before EA Play came about, I think it was E3.
E3.
Moody was there. Moody was there. They were both there. And did you hear Moody talk? Did Moody talk like how he did in his videos? No. I guarantee you he didn't. Did he do all the stuff he did that he does online? No, he didn't do that either. You see what I'm saying? I've been at EA Play. I've seen guys far and wide, dudes that talk mad greasy online. When they got in front of them devs, all of a sudden, oh, hey, sir, I just, I know I get a little bit upset at times about Madden and EA, but, I just want the game to be good and all that stuff. Oh, you sound completely different than you do when you're making your videos or when you're streaming or when you're on Twitter. Why you sound so different? Come at them the same way you did online. See, the game changes when you're in front of these people. So it's like, if you could conduct yourself accordingly like that, why are you going at him like this now? Because you don't agree with what he's saying, or you don't like what Clint had to say. Now this is a kicker right here. If you got a problem with the game, y'all looking at, you guys need to look in the proper direction. Azura said this when he first came back from EA. Man, we hollering at the wrong people. We in the wrong spot. We need to have a seat at the table. We got to be at the table with the decision makers. That's how we really going to change the game. It's not going to change at this level that we're at. Unfortunately, like we could give feedback and all that stuff, and that's fine. You said Clint talks crazy to people. Yeah, sure. The way that people talk to Clint is absurdly ridiculous.
Funny
Please, Clint. Clint don't be going ham like that.
Clint
like y'all be acting like. Go ahead,
Clint
Sam.
like 6'6", 290.
Yeah, like
that's the funniest thing of it all. Yo, Clint is a big boy. Not 290. I'm exaggerating, but Clint, dog. That's the funniest thing. I've seen people literally look up to Clint like, whoa. I didn't know that's the guy I was talking to. You know what I mean? Like, it's hilarious, man. It's hilarious. That dude played offensive line, man. Clint is a big boy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so but even with that though, the bottom line is, why is it that people showcase they got all this respect to show when they in front of these cats? But it's a whole different ballgame when you sitting at home. Well, why do that there? Show that toughness in front of these guys. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole thing. Like it's funny to me, but that's not the main thing that I'm getting at. It's not about Clint. You guys that are so focused at Clint and these guys, the part that you guys are missing is that you guys are talking to the employee. He doesn't make the final decisions. he's not responsible for the budget allocation. He's not responsible for how many people are hired and fired. He's not responsible for any of that. He's not responsible. He's not responsible or accountable for how many studios work on Madden. You see what I'm saying? You need to talk to Andrew Wilson. He's the CEO. That's who you need to be getting. When they did that call or whatever they did, when they had that meeting and made that decision about that whole licensing thing, guess who was at the table? It wasn't Clint. Exactly. Clint Oldenburg wasn't there. A-Dub wasn't there. John White wasn't there. It was freaking Andrew Wilson. He was there. That's who you need to talk to. That's who you need to email. That's who you need to be getting at with the vids and all that stuff. Get at him. He's the one. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that draws strings. And matter of fact, when Andrew Wilson was a developer, he's the inventor of Ultimate Team. Because he was on the FIFA dev team. He invented Ultimate Team, the machine that so many people have this apparent hate for. He's the inventor. So why aren't you getting at him? You see what I'm saying? It's like I said this to Sim before the show started. It's just like if you watched the show before, Undercover Boss. When they talk on Undercover Boss, the people they send in people that can make an impact. They send in the CEOs and the vice presidents of, all this stuff. That's who they send in, because they send in people that can make big change quickly. Not somebody that well, we sent the manager's supervisor of this location and all that. No, they don't send the district manager and all that. They get the CEOs and the VPs. They get them in there. You see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, hold on a second. Gotta get this dog out here. Go ahead. There. Those are the people that they send. Those are the people that they put in disguise and everything. But just think about it. Like this point, I think I made it on here before. It's just like if you have a McDonald's and you got the best world-renowned chefs working there, Gordon Ramsay and all them cats, right? Name who you want. Bobby Flay, all them cats. They can all be in there making burgers, fries, all that jazz. The quality of food that they make is going to be on the same level as the one ran 10 blocks away or whatever, down the street, with little Bobby, Susie, Steve, and Carl that are all in high school, right? Same levels. Why is it the same level? Gordon and all them can be requesting and saying, man, we need all these resources. We need that. We need. But the people above them are the ones that are going to say, well, let's look at the numbers. Oh, well, you guys are doing phenomenal with what you got. Oh, but we could do better if you just... No, this works. We're going to continue operating at this level. Make the Big Mac the way the Big Mac's supposed to be made. Make that Filet-O-Fish. Drop them nuggets down. Drop them fries the way they're supposed to be dropped and keep it trucking. And that's it. They don't have the juice. So when you look at Clint, he's a head gameplay director. He don't run that building. He don't run Tiburon. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about this kind of situation, and you're talking about you want change to happen, the guys you got to look at are the CEOs and those VPs. Those are the cats you got to look at. That's the only way you get change to happen. You see what I'm saying? Because like I said to Sim, when 50 Cent and Ja Rule was having a beef, did you see Dr. Dre worried? Was he threatening for his life or anything like that? Oh no, they beefing. Oh, like he's like, oh, okay, well y'all do what you do. Y'all be safe. See ya. Like he chilling. He ain't worried about G Unit and Murder Inc. He wasn't worried about any of that. He like, man, y'all got that. when Bobby Shmurda was wilding out and doing all the stuff that he was doing or whatever. Well, I don't know what label he was on, but once again, you think those executives and VPs and all that, you think they concerned about their life? Oh, I gotta watch out because I signed him. About him? They're like, okay, well, go ahead and do what you do. You know, y'all be careful. You know, I mean, I hope he's okay because he do got to put out some records for me. I mean, I invested in him, but if somebody got a problem with what those guys are doing, complaining, you're complaining at the lowest level. You're pulling at, you're arguing with the fallen tree branch that's already on the ground. You putting all that energy into that fallen branch when you got to go all the way to the top of the tree if you want to really address the problem. The issue is at the top of the tree, not at the bottom. And you arguing with the bottom of the tree. Like, that's going to get it done. That is not going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope you guys understand that, because if you have, that's like saying you have a car dealership and every car that I send you only has 3 wheels. What you gonna say? Well, I mean, they only gave us cars with 3 wheels. So no, what that consumer is gonna say is, I expect a car with 4 wheels. So guess whose head they gonna be on? Yours. Regardless, they ain't gonna be, they may say something to me. I could be the CEO way in an untouchable spot. They'll look at the CEO, they may point my direction, but they're gonna look at you. They're gonna look at you first and let you have anything to say that they don't agree with. Mm-hmm. Guess what's gonna happen? They're gonna be on your head. Oh, did you hear what so said? Oh my gosh, they had the audacity to say, when it ain't that crucial. It's like, dude, at the end of the day, you need to be getting at the CEO. That's who you need to get at. But the CEO is all the way up there where they can look at the numbers and they see the data and the spreadsheets, and they like, I thought people would have issues with these 3-wheel cars. Apparently not. They buying them up. So we're going to keep rolling out 3-wheel cars then, because this seems to be working, even though people complain. Hey, it's working. See? So that's how stuff like that works. They can deploy a plan from the top. If you guys remember, Rex did his interview with Dubby. He told y'all, I had this plan where I wanted to do it this way, and I was going to do this and do this and do that. Who stopped him? Andrew Wilson said, stop the train right there. Where's the bell and whistles at? That's all I want. All right? Okay. Meeting's done. Now we're on. Rex had a whole plan of what he wanted to do. See what I'm saying? He doesn't run the show like that. So please understand that. I'm not saying don't give him no feedback or don't say nothing to Clinton. That's not it, because you already know Sim and I are going to be doing that anyways. But the bottom line is that when it comes to who people want to just all of a sudden y'all want to shoot at Clint like he's the one, he ain't the one to do that with. This is the guy that's on our side. Because remember, as much as people say, oh, I see it all the time. People quickly say they miss Rex. They miss Rex. Oh, we miss Rex so bad. You had people in this community and abroad that threatened him, called for his job, threatened his family, wish terminal illnesses on his kids. Come on. You know what I'm saying? People did all that kind of stuff, okay, toward Rex, all right? So to be like, all of a sudden, oh, but we want him back. It's like, you guys ridiculed him the same degree that Clint is being ridiculed too. See what I'm saying? So y'all got to understand, there's levels to this. But the level that needs to be reached at is not being reached out to. And the sad part is, they go into this meeting and they look at the numbers and, you know, like was brought up, hey, this year they had ridiculously great numbers. They added those cheesy abilities in there, which did not work extremely well. But at the same time, people still play with it anyways. And you had people that just said, I guess I'll play it anyways and deal with it. Even though it's the only game on the market, I guess I'll play with it anyway. You had that part. But not only did you have that, you also, just like they looked at, which is ridiculous. This is basically because of the corona virus situation. Oh, look at the numbers for April. Oh, look how high. Look at how much
Yeah.
people were online and playing the game and everything. It's like the coronavirus had people at home. Of course it lost. But see, that's the stuff you could do with business. The technicalities you could throw in there. Oh, just last month, man, look at these numbers that they had. Man, look at the numbers. That's the kind of stuff they took into that meeting. Oh man, knockout mode. People playing it more than ever. And they do it on. See, this is the kind of stuff right here that happened. You see what I'm saying? So that this is what I'm talking about at the end of the day. And I saw my man, what's the name, Diligent, or somebody was saying like, what was Moody being brought up for? The reason why I was just using Moody, I was just saying a community member. Like when it comes to community member dialogue back then, like if somebody talked greasy or whatever, or somebody talk a certain way, it's like all of a sudden people's attitudes and tones change when they're in front of people. It's not saying that they're weak or anything like that. It's just the fact that all of a sudden you want to be respectfully heard, right? Because that's the moment of truth when it comes to being respectfully heard, and you got all the parties in one vicinity, and everybody's within arm's length of each other, pretty much. The game changes. You're not talking, you know, you're not portraying that character no more. Now it's time to switch up, and it's time to, you want to be respected and you want to be heard well, so you got to conduct yourself respectfully. And that's the point that I'm saying. Like when I went to EA Play, I seen people point issues out. They weren't being ignorant. They weren't talking all that crazy and slick talk that they usually would do. They was acting all respectful and cordial and everything. So I'm like, if you want these devs to listen to you, you got to be respectful. You're not going to be disrespectful. And it's not just Clint, even though, yeah, Clint does have a presence, no question. But other devs that were there too, like Jake Stein and other guys, people were absolutely respectful, whether they liked the game or not. So that's the main point that I'm getting at. That respectful interaction. So, but that's all that I got on this piece right here. We're going to see what these guys do. I mean, we got to see what kind of investment these guys are talking about. But I mean, look, understand, and they said they poured a lot of resources into this game and all that. So it's like, we'll see. We'll
What for
see what that
21?
means. Yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what that means.
Yeah,
So,
man. Just to comment real quick. I was about to type it, but Marvis Hood. Yeah, I asked because I always want to know what it is about NCAA 14 that people love. My second question would be to you is did you like Madden 25? The only reason why I ask is because I think what you said is definitely appropriate. I loved NCAA as well because of the depth. I complained about the gameplay also. It did feel a little more like college. Obviously the playbooks and things like that. I loved it. Excuse me. I know Kia's in here. I know he loved all of the different formations and schemes. I loved coaching carousel. I loved composure. I just loved the sound of the game with the bands, and it was more wide open. And we actually had the opportunity to see behind the curtain on that, how they would
yeah.
loosen NCAA. Bruh, we have seen it in a state where people would have hated NCAA 14 before they tightened it up. So I
Yeah.
always ask that question. The only reason why is because everybody's different. Everybody likes and hates things for different reasons. I saw somebody in here, one of my Steeler followers in here said he liked Madden 20. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's the misconception. And A Philly, if you still in here, that's why I was asking the question. It's like I always see people, and I'm not attacking you. I'm just observing. I always see some people that will come to a video that I make or a video with Smitty and I like tonight, or even Moody and others, and it's like you kind of poke at what we're doing on the outside, but all the time. So I'm like, if we're wasting our time by giving feedback or whatever, or being a game changer, whatever you want to say, how is it not a waste of your time continuing to follow what we're doing? I'm confused with that. And again, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I don't understand why there's always so much judgment in this community. Like, if somebody is not going at the game the way you want them to go at it, then people got a problem with that. If somebody is too happy with something, people got a problem with it. If people are playing a game, they got a like. Why do we have so much of the judgment? Like, to me, the unwritten rule that I don't even have to ask, excuse me, I know that all of us in here want the same thing. We all want a great product. Even those people that I don't really communicate with anymore, really. You know, and I'm not getting into names and all that, but you know, a lot of us have fell out over the years for different reasons. But at the end of the day, even they want the same thing. They just might be going about it a different way. That's one thing we can all agree on. So that's why, at least myself, is why I fell out of all of that. I don't have time for that no more. I don't have time to do that. I'm sorry. I can't do it. And that's why I still don't understand why people will continue every video. You can't even do anything without somebody saying, you should send this to so-and-so. Like, no, you do it. Like, you go watch who you prefer to watch, or you create a channel. Like, I'm not the guy no more as far as kicking the door, waving the 4-4. I ain't got the time for that, man. I just don't, because again, I'm gonna break it down to the bare essentials. It's not that serious to me. At the end of the day, we are talking about a video game. I don't care that much about a video game for me to be pissed off enough to scream and yell at a developer. Or what, I don't care that much. But maybe because I've matured and I understand business. I understand. Like, again, me and Smitty get it. Like, again, even when we used to be on our tirade, as some people would say, we still weren't wildly disrespectful. The only time we ever really got semi-disrespectful or got mad was when the Sim Standard started, because Ian Cummings decided to call us a bunch of nitpickers. So we was like, oh, okay. Well, we're going to show you what this is all about. But we was never the ones who kicking and screaming. You might hear, and here's the funny thing, Smitty. I do this same exact thing in my Madden breakdown videos now that I did back then. This is bad. This is terrible. They got to fix this. Nothing has changed as far as the content, but people's perception. Oh, he doesn't, he's cool now. Because I don't make videos every single day breaking down the game. Dog, I don't have the time for that no more. We know what's wrong with the game. We know what's wrong with the progression of the game, where it comes from. When I start seeing culture change in the building, then I might start paying a little more attention. You understand what I'm saying? And the last thing real quick, and then I'll throw it back to Smitty. I've always said this, and I say this every week. The devs are responsible, because I agree with what Neff said a little earlier. The devs are responsible for the product they put out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Things
they definitely
are
are
broken, that you refuse to fix, or you Band-Aid fix it. That ain't the suits.
Oh, no. So
I'm going to hold, even though we're cool with these guys, I'm going to hold Clint to the fire with certain things. My boy, A-Dub. I even hit him up and be like, come on, man, we can't. But see, what y'all don't know is A-Dub, let me say this without getting too crazy. He'll go as far as telling me exactly why certain things can't be done. Exactly why. That I can't share that. I'm sorry, I can't share that with y'all.
Yeah.
But he'll go that far to be like, man, this is why we can't do that right now. And I'm like, right? Some of it is what Rex told y'all. There's a lot of stuff we got to recode, right? And with recoding and things comes, that's where them guys upstairs come into play. Because you, as the employee, take your little plan into their office. Hey, man, I really want to do this. I want to do this, do that. And the big boss looking down at you like, man, yeah, we ain't got time for that. I need you to go build long shot.
Right.
That's the business. So when you hear Smitty and I, it's funny, we got to repeat this every week. When you hear us say it's above the devs, we're talking about that stuff. Progression, maybe even some surface fixes that they need to address. But I'm always going to be on Clint, because he's the lead guy now. I got to be on you guys for what you produce. You're responsible for that. Yeah. And the Band-Aid fixes and all that. Like, nah, man, y'all. My only advice to the devs, and I've said this to them in there personally, face to face. Look, make the best time out of whatever you have. I'd rather you spend your time, even though you don't have a lot of time allotted for certain things, I'd rather you spend real quality time on a certain thing to fix instead of just sprinkling Band-Aids here and there and coming back, because you never get back to it. It's the same time, so you might as well, if you're going to slow roll us anyway, you might as well slow roll us with quality. Like, all right, guys, we fixed these 3 bugs, to perfection. We can't get the other 20, and next year we'll attack 3 more. All right, because I understand, but at least give us quality with your time in development. That's all. That's the pressure that I put on the devs. But again, I just don't. If you're looking for me to be, I don't care that much, man. Listen, let me put it in the sweetest context that I can. Yes, I care because we play video games. We all gamers. I want the best. I want to be able to represent the football world the best I can. I want to be able to play with the Steelers from last year and stink it up on offense because I got Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. And it's organically stinking up. It ain't just because some wild, crazy stuff. No, the team just ain't good. I want that. But what about that reality of, what if we never get that? Then what? Life goes on. That's all I'm saying, man. And maybe, again, Smitty, maybe it's because now we are a little older. We got kids. It's more things that's more important to me than to be here just fighting a sweet fight and pound. Of course, I'm gonna keep doing. I'm never gonna stop giving my feedback as long as I'm playing video games. Y'all might be seeing me at 60, still making videos because I'm still gaming.
Yeah.
Think about it. We grew up with games.
Hey. There's elder women sponsored. Okay, sponsored like gaming monitors and stuff like that, because like there are women that it's like a group of elderly folk that be gaming, like streaming and all that. So that ain't a far-fetched thing, real talk. So
yeah, man, it's sad. But it's the sad truth, man, is that I hope not. And that's why, let me answer this question. A lot of people will say, again, they always try to throw stones at people if you play Madden. There's no problem with anybody. I told y'all, I play the game. How else am I going to know? I'm about to start a new franchise right now with the latest rosters, and I'm playing. I'm gonna play all Madden simulation. This, and the reason why I'm doing this, and I'm going to explain it when I make the first video. I want to know the real problems in the game, from cheats to everything. And I feel like if you put it on the highest difficulty, you're going to see everything that's wrong with this game. Funny thing is, I played a preseason game earlier and was pretty shocked at the results. It actually played better than the franchise that I'm playing now with custom starters. And I'm like, what is going on here? But my point is, and we haven't paid for Madden in eons. So newsflash for anybody who wants to know that I don't buy the game. But I'm going to play. How else am I going to be the SimFBallCritic if I'm not playing the game?
You're not playing it
extensively. Like, I need to, because again, I'll say this again. There's sometimes when the game plays out, I'm like, wow, that was fire. I'm talking animation and interaction. Picture that. There's moments where you look at the game and it's a head scratcher because you like, why don't it do this all the time? But how else are we gonna fight the good fight if we don't know the game in and out? I'm not the type of person that a problem happens and I throw it in the trash. Oh, that game's trash and never go back to you. You can't do that. You can't do that with any game. And on the flip side of that, as much as I play NBA 2K, little problems start poking his head out, and I'm like, I didn't know that was still there. But I still enjoy playing the game. Like nobody should ever criticize anybody in here for playing a game. If you can find fun in the only football product that's on the market, that is your business. I will never tell somebody to not buy a game or to buy a game. That is up to you. I would just encourage all of you that feel like it's a waste of time, you're wasting your money, don't buy it, don't play it. Stay true to your word, because I've already seen a bunch of y'all in past years that said y'all won't go play the game. Because some of y'all are friends of mine. I don't usually be on there. A lot of times I'm offline, but see, y'all forget that I see all of that. Sometimes just for fun, I just scroll through there like, he playing Madden. Dude just said he won't ever gonna play the game again. But I don't say nothing because it's a game, man. It's a game. It's a game. Don't listen. The way we started this show off tonight, that lets you know this ain't that serious, man. I mean, it's our entertainment, yes, but don't let the lack thereof from a Madden product to destroy your life. Like, it might not ever be what we want, and that's a harsh reality.
You know, let me say this, and that's kind of why that's why I like when we have the play off of each other, because it's like Sim makes that point that I didn't necessarily make, but it still is all in the same context no matter what. I may not have jumped out and said, like, as far as the dev accountability thing, but it's like we still hold the devs accountable no matter what.
Yes.
Still do. Like, that's a given. But we also understand where, how this all rolls. And no, I'm a Lions fan. There was a depressed Steelers fan. I'm a Detroit Lions fan. But the thing is that, yeah, there's nothing wrong with if you enjoy if it's a game you play and you enjoy it, right? There are people that play NBA Live right now and enjoy it. Like, they love playing Live 19 online. Honestly, that game has wore its welcome completely out to me. But there are people that absolutely love it. And it's like, oh, okay, if you love it, if you like it, I love it. I respect your decision. There's nothing that I can tell. I'm not going to get mad at anyone. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they enjoy. Heck, that's why I say, I'm gonna play this Madden with Sabo's mods and everything like that, because the game feels better. It does. He can't rectify all the problems. Him and the people that work on this, they can't rectify everything. Okay. But they still do something to the game. They do make the game better. They make it a bit enjoyable, right? But the thing is, and I also I also put in the comment section the Twitter handle for feedback. If you want to give feedback in regards to Madden and all that stuff constructively and not being all silly and belligerent, but constructively feedback, I put it in the comment section there. It's their Twitter handle. It's at Madden NFL Direct. That's their Twitter handle. So if you got, they post all the updates and stuff they do, maintenances and everything. But if you got feedback you want to give, that's where you give it at. You send it there. Okay. That's where you go to, but I just want to plug that in, Sim, just to throw that out there. But listen, guys, like, look, we want this game to hit on all cylinders. We want this game to be great. We want Madden to be a great game. If Madden was on the level of an NFL 2K or something like not NFL 2K, but like on an NBA 2K or MLB The Show, this wouldn't even be a big topic. This would have just been, oh, they extended the deal. Oh, okay. Well, it sucks not to have competition. You know, it'll be nice because that will push them a little bit more. But at the same time, man, they doing their thing. So, okay. So yeah, so you know, it's like EA can do better. Will they do better? We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. That's the key thing about it.
June 1st, that's coming.
Yeah, June 1st, we're gonna get hit with that ice cold tease. You know what I'm saying? like
popcorn ready, baby.
We're gonna get hit with that ice cold tease, and then we'll see what a little over a week later, like 10 days later, they're gonna do their EA Play stream thing they're gonna do. So we might get something there. Who knows how much or how little will be showcased. So don't get your hopes way too high with that. But this is one thing I want to say, and this is kind of segueing. This is one thing I want to segue into, so we can wrap the show up, because I wanted to talk about that VR game.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna make a video on this too, but I'm gonna also talk about it here.
I'm gonna throw it up here in the. I'm gonna throw it on the OBS so people can see.
Yeah. So what folk need to understand is about this gameplay you're gonna see. This is the thing. First of all, it's like what, a year old or a few years old in some of the video clips. So it's like this is not brand new technology.
What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in, man. Got a quick video here for you. And sorry, guys. I had the audio from the video playing in the background. My bad.
Oh, okay. Now, but the thing is that you guys got to understand is that they said, and even Sim said in his video he did, they said they're using the latest in motion capture technique. These dudes don't have EA money. At least I don't know. I mean, I know they're not as big as Electronic Arts. And this is an overseas company in the UK or whatever as well. And these dudes, I've seen their behind the scenes video for their basketball game video. Whoa. Or their simulation. They got the green screen all around the basketball court. And these dudes are just playing basketball. They're just straight playing basketball. And mocapping everything they're doing. That's it. And then they put it up on screen. So there's no control. There's no CPU versus CPU. There's no AI, whatever. There's no controller inputs. None of that. This is not a video game you can play. Because this stuff is all for gambling and stuff like that. Casino type betting systems that they have when it comes to this gameplay and stuff being shown. So as Sim's going to as Sim is queuing it up here for us. But the thing you got to understand here, guys, is that when you see this footage here, this gameplay, this is stuff that if you could put this footage side by side with that Madden Next Gen trailer, you see back in, what was that, 2004, 2005? This is where we should be at right now. Mm-hmm. We should have a game that it may not look exactly like this mocap vid, but it should be on par with it. The quality of the gameplay should be at that level. And for it to not be at that level, like not even remotely close to that level, it's like, that's where it's a problem at. Because I can look at NBA 2K. NBA 2K looks like basketball. Is it perfect? No. But camera angles, presentation, animations, dribbles, all that looks like basketball. If you walking past TV, you swear a game's going. It looks like a game. Unless you just know 2K's commentary and all that stuff and their lingo, you would just know, like, all right, no, that's not the real deal. That's a video game. Otherwise, you would think the game is on. With Madden, it's a video game. Through and through. You know that's a video game play. And see, that's the thing that the company has said, like Sim got it up there on screen. But like the thing they said, this is the key thing that stuck out to me. They said ultra realistic player simulations created using the latest animation and motion capture techniques.
Yes. That's the
You know
part
what
we're
I'm saying?
focusing on right there.
That's it. I'm reading one more time. Ultra realistic player simulations created using the latest animation and motion capture techniques. And now, when you see that gameplay show up there on screen, there it is. You guys see it there on screen. Look at that. You telling me that a game couldn't be developed with that kind of fidelity at this point now? You couldn't have organic gameplay with that kind of fidelity at this point right now. You could have this. And see, that's the thing. This is why when we go back to resources and things like that, it's not on Clint. Clint ain't responsible for this. What if Clint is only allowed 15 or 20 hours of mocap? You see what I'm saying? What if Clint is only given 15, 20 hours of mocap and he wants to go ahead and say, man, I want to get another 2, 3, 4 gameplay mocap sessions in. He can't. Because he's told. You see what I'm saying? Because he's told otherwise. You're not allowed to do that. You see what I'm saying? You're not allowed to do anything like that. And look, and understand this. Nobody is saying Madden needs to be one-to-one just like this. But the bottom line is EA told us, and I know from them, and like what's being said in the chat here, he said it would take 15 years to give something like this. Well, that's a funny coincidence you say that. Because how many years ago was that when EA showed us that CGI trailer and everything? 15 years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
EA could have and what did that CGI trailer show us? It's showing us all this fluid running, player fidelity, animation, all that good stuff, right? You see what I'm saying? So he said this is CGI animation.
But see,
Okay.
that's not the point, and that's a few people made that point in the comments in the video. We're not comparing apples to apples. I said that repeatedly in the video. All I'm saying is, it's fair to look at a game like NBA 2K, MLB The Show, and see that those games more so look like this than Madden does. That's all I was saying. I'm just looking at the fluidity of the player movement and how they're animating, the subtle animations for jukes and things like that. That's all I'm talking about. Now, clearly, again, like I said in the video, I know the logistics are totally different when it comes to creating a simulation versus a controlled game. But again, Smitty makes the point for me when he says, well, look at that trailer they showed us. And this is all we're saying. We see other sports games right now in the market that look closer to their sport. More similar to this than Madden looks like this. That's the only point I was making. I mean, definitely, this thing looks like real people. It's hard to imagine that to happen when you got player input and all of that. But we should at least have a game that we can look at from broadcast view and say, wow, that looks like football. That's all I was really trying to showcase. That's it.
Yeah, that's what we're not saying EA needs to one-to-one emulate this. But what we're saying, though, is that from the vision, if you put this side by side with the Madden 05 Next Gen trailer, the Madden 06 Next Gen trailer, that even though it was CGI, the bottom line is that these two they play off each other. So if you're saying it would have took 15 years for them to get something like that, well, what if EA followed suit with the course they said we were going to get from next gen onward and gave us a game that was mirroring those CG videos that they did, those CGI videos? What if EA also delivered on, like what Andrew Wilson said when they talked about Ignite and they continued on those visions of biomechanical player movement and AI and human intelligence and all that stuff and everything. You see, so if those things were truly built upon the way they should have been, they're not far off of this. That's my point.
That's the point.
We're not saying everything's gonna run fluidly just like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the point. They got to build off of that. They had something to build off of and never built off of it. And that's the whole point about this gameplay here. Like that's exactly what this video shows. It's like, how come EA couldn't accomplish something along that line? If these guys are, like I said, if 2K is able to give us what they given us, and understand this too, and we all know what CGI does, but also this is why I'm saying that. Remember when you had Cyber LeBron and the CG trailer of him using the 2K real voice and all that stuff? You had the CG trailer of that, right? Look how close the CG trailer is in comparison to where the real voice is now. See what I'm saying? Like, they realize the vision, and it doesn't look the CG trailer, LeBron, of that versus where it's at now, or even where it was at the beginning. It's not far-fetched. It's not like, it's way off. So no, that's why I'm saying, I know VF said, the Madden trailer, that 05 trailer looks worse. Well, that was going from PS2 and Xbox to 360 and PS3. I mean, it should look worse at this point. But the point I'm getting at is the fluidity that they were showcasing in that CG trailer, we never have received that. That's the bottom line. That 2K trailer was CG. That LeBron that was in there was CG. So I don't need to debate that. Like, I know we know what was there. You said real voice doesn't exist anymore. Players yeah, that is 2K real. Okay, all right, I guess gotta showcase since people don't get it, but that's fine. No, what was I gonna say here? Where is it at? Where is the comment at? I just seen. No, real voice does still exist. It's like when it's not, they don't have the real voice in the corner and all that stuff no more. But they still do, like when players do their post-game interviews and stuff like that, they still do their chatter. They take the halftime stuff, when you hear coaches talk, when you hear players talk at the end of the games at halftime as well. That's the real voice. They're not promoting it no more. They don't need to. It's incorporated in the game now. It's part of it. So, but that's the key thing that I had to say about it. It's just that those main points, them going from what they did in Madden to where they're at with that now. If EA followed suit with development and kept the investment consistent with the development as well, we would have a game that would be bordering this. It may not be spot on like it, but we would all be able to walk past TV and be like, that looks like the NFL right there, in comparison to what we're looking at right now, which clearly looks like a video game.
And that's the thing. I think, and shout outs to Bills and VF. And I saw A Philly what he wrote before he deleted it. I think he might be corrected in some spelling there. But what you guys are saying is making my exact point, or what at least I tried to convey in that video was, it's impossible for it to look like a simulated betting game. I mean, when they could spend hours upon hours and polygons and all of that and CGI, I get it. But what I'm saying is the fluidity and the way they move and behave should look almost real by now. And the point you guys are making with the 2K14, because you guys, a few of y'all are saying it wasn't CG. I don't know if it was or wasn't. That's between you guys and Smitty. I honestly don't know myself, but let's assume it wasn't. Well, then that's my point. This is what I'm saying. The games should look so close to real life now that when we look at it, Madden should resemble what we see in that football game. It definitely ain't gonna look just like it. I mean, graphics alone and that stuff is. Have y'all seen the Tyson one? Lord have mercy. So I get that, but I'm saying by now these players should move. Like, honestly, again, 2K to me is close to this. You can still tell it's a game, but when you look at 2K from broadcast, it look like basketball, man. You look at MLB the show, cut that on in demo mode and just sit on your couch and watch it. That's what I'm saying. So that was really my point. And again, if I didn't do a great job conveying that, yeah, I'll take that. But that was my whole point. That's why I was saying, hey, will 2K well, now we know it ain't gonna be no real NFL 2K, or right. Can Madden 21 at least resemble this? And again, my biggest point is how they're moving, how they're interacting, things of that nature. I know user input is gonna destroy, but that honestly, if you take Madden right now and get rid of all of those warps and drawing together two-man animations and the dice rolls that have to play out, it's totally different to the eye. Even if it, and that footage too, more little detail that I noticed was how there was one play in that footage where it was a near miss where he almost swiped, was able to get the ball, couldn't get, stuff like that. Relative positioning mattering. The pocket, and guys getting pushed out of the way and not just moving to the quarter. Those type of things. That's really all I was saying is, can we get something that looks kind of like this? And we'll see. We'll see, man. I mean, like Smitty said, and I'm going to have to read the article, but what Smitty was saying earlier, and I did see somebody on Twitter saying that, actually VF, I think VF posted it or quoted it on Twitter, that somebody was saying that EA put all these resources in the game or whatever, and they're gearing up for the next gen consoles. We heard this before.
Yeah.
But it's time for them to show up, man. It's just that simple. It's time for them to show up. Maybe this will be the time. Maybe it won't. I'm just not going to get my hopes up. But it's time for us all to be talking about a football game that we relatively enjoy. It will have problems, I'm sure. I enjoy NBA 2K. It has issues that I don't like. I still like all-pro football, and shout-outs to 2K football now if he's here or if he hears this, for getting me up to speed with the emulator. Having a good time, but it's still this sword, the eyesores that I had back then with the game shows up even more now because it's old, and I'm like, why does it do that? And there's no updating that game.
Right.
But it's still a great brand of football because, again, animation, interaction. One thing that stuck out immediately since I hadn't played it in years, you really don't see a lot of situations where positioning doesn't matter. You don't really see that much in all-pro football. You can throw the ball where you want it to go and the guy doesn't warp to it, and it's a near miss. And you can trust your eyes and like, ooh, I'm going to throw this to the outside as he that stuff is there. You don't see the zip in the two-man animation and then your receiver turning into the defender before the ball gets there. You don't see that. So, that's all, man. That was my only point of that. Let's end this on a high note, man. We all agree that we want a better football game. Some of us will still play Madden, try to get the best fun that we can out of it because we love football. There's no crime in that. Some of us won't buy the game because we're sick and tired of EA shenanigans, and you can find your fix elsewhere. Like my good buddy Neff. Go check him out. He's rocking 2K8 as well as Backbreaker with updated rosters. Go check it out. You know, if that floats your boat, if you're more of a simulation football league type of guy, go check out Neff. He's having a great time streaming over there. Go give him some support. Some of us will just play old games, period. All the way back to 04, 05, 07. Shout outs to VF. You know, VF consistently does that. This is the dude that I like to say VF hoards gaming consoles. You know, he got gaming consoles for days. He can play whatever he wants. Smitty probably too. Go do that. You know, like, so it's just, you know, what we try to do here, man, is no judgment. You know what I mean? Like, we all got the same goal. We're taking different avenues, but we all want the best possible modern day produced football game. That's the reason why I spend time with Madden, continue to give feedback. I play the game so I can see what's truly wrong with it, CPU wise, because a lot of us are offline CFM heads as much as we are online franchise heads. So I do both. So I really know what's wrong with the game, because again, I'm just a gamer at the end of the day. I want to play with the beautiful polished game as far as the way it looks. I just need the gameplay to catch up. You know, I don't want to be sitting here playing a PS5 come October and I got to be looking back at, man, let me throw that in this 2K5. I don't want to do that. I want the beautiful toy. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to have to, I got to keep the McLaren in the garage because every time I go out, they got a slow leak in the tire. What's the point of that? You know, this big, beautiful car that I can't drive. That's how I feel about the newer consoles, man. It's too much. Truth be told, the advancement of these other games, sports games, and even my beloved Battlefield and all of that, and Red Dead, that's another reason why I just never really ventured back to old consoles. Even, you know, I let Madden give me my small football fix, and now I'm rocking 2K8. I might start streaming a little bit of that, maybe. We'll see. You know, with 2K now's old school rosters, the 93 season. That's it. That's it. Can't do much more than that, man. All we can do is hope that somebody finally kicks them in the butt. Maybe that tournament exposed them pretty good. We'll see. We'll see, man. We will see. But that's all I got, man. Anything you want to add, Smitty, before we get on out of here?
Oh, that's all I got, man. Like, you know, like always, man, appreciate everybody for, you know, coming through and hanging out here with us and, you know, doing being able to break bread on these topics and everything like that. Just having fun breaking bread on it and having fun with it. And we'll just have to wait and see what ends up happening. What up?
No, I
have to see what.
Go ahead. I'll say it.
Oh, okay. No, we'll just see what happens, you know, from here when it comes to, what we see next week or whatever. We're going to see some kind of news, some kind of tease next week. And then after that, we'll see what goes on. But no, we always appreciate everybody coming through that hung out with us, you know, like always, man. It's always a great time, though. I always look forward to getting on here every week.
Y'all know it wouldn't be me if I wouldn't say something crazy. And it made me think about something when Smitty said tease. I'm crazy. But I wonder if what they're going to show us as far as the tease, is going to be a little bit of shoulder, or are we going to see a nip slip? I'm silly, man. Don't bother. Don't worry about me. I just try to be silly all the time, man. What kind of tease are we gonna get? Is it gonna be the one that you're gonna be intrigued? And you guys, we're all guys. Y'all know that's happened before. And you was like, oh, did you see that? But if you just saw somebody's shoulder, you're like, So I wonder what's it gonna be? Which one? Which tease are we gonna get? But also, I wanted to comment, man, here on, and again, this is why I always say everybody's different. My man, YouTube. I don't know how to pronounce that. You know who I'm talking about. him and Bills, two totally different opinions here, right? He says All Pro Football 2K8 is too realistic for me, but I love it. And Bills says laugh out loud, you know, too realistic. But y'all see what I'm saying? It's like everybody's opinions are different. That's why I don't trash nobody's opinion. But truth be told, that's the reason why, you know, Madden, that's my point right there. That's why Madden sells still, because not everybody in the world is as nutty as all of us. Well, we want this completely simulation product. We're clearly the minority, man. We're clearly the minority. Neff said that women's softball tees. Oh man. But yeah, guys, man, let's get up out of here. I don't think we got nothing else. Look, yeah, VF. You know, I'm just trying to be silly, man. I always try to end it with a silly note. I think that's all we got, man. So everybody, stay safe. Y'all know I give the same speech every week, and while we're dealing with this pandemic, and even if it ain't the pandemic, if you riding in your car, and I'm talking to my folks, you riding in the car, minding your own business, try to stay safe, man, because it's crazy out here. But other than that, everybody be safe, have a good week, have a good weekend, and we'll be back next week to talk about whatever it is. They should look at Bills. Madden Areola football. Gotta have a little fun, man. It's Friday Eve, man. We gotta have a little fun. But yeah, man. Hopefully Monday we have something to talk about, and we'll be back here next week to throw it on y'all. But all right, man. I'm gone. Be good. Peace.
Peace.